I must have dinner at exactly 6 p.m. If I don't, it comes for me. Story by you/Saturday. It is really bizarre to look back on the past year and consider that there was a time when my life was simple. I have a different life today, and I would argue, I'm a different person. I have to eat every night at specifically 6 p.m. If I don't, there are consequences. That doesn't sound all that weird. People eat at 6 p.m. all the time. Some earlier, some later. I can't do that. It has to be exactly 6 p.m., and if I don't, there are consequences. You wouldn't think there'd be, but there is. And yeah, it is as unusual as it sounds. It started about a year ago. My family was taking me out to celebrate finishing my education as a dental technician. I had technically already worked in the field for some time, mostly internships, but now I had it all on paper. I was officially done, and I could get myself a real job. I had a couple of places lined up. My mom was really excited about it. She booked a table at a pretty pricey downtown restaurant. You need to book it at least 1 or 2 months in advance, especially if you want a weekend or evening slot. Not only did she do that, she booked it with space to spare. Mom, Dad, my girlfriend Amy, my older brother, and my grandparents. One big outing. I was a bit nervous about them meeting Amy. It was their first time, but I figured it'd be fine. We got there around 5:30 on a Friday. I'm not gonna out the restaurant. I think they're closed now, but it was this nice downtown place. Slightly elevated with an outdoors terrace. They had 2 bars and these big booths for parties of up to 8. When we got there, they showed us inside, asked us to take off our shoes, and sat us down at the table. First thing they did was go person by person and wash our hands at the table. The appetizer was meant to be eaten with your hands. That was the kind of vibe we were walking into. Just for contrast, I'm not into expensive stuff. The whole reason I got into dentistry at all was because I used to be anxious about tongues. I started reading about them just to kind of demystify them, and all of a sudden, it became an interest. Then I went from tongue to teeth. But food-wise, I'm a ramen noodle kind of guy. I'm not really about the whole washing my hands with eucalyptus water thing. We had a couple of drinks, some laughs, some appetizers. They had this shrimp thing they served with dry ice that made the whole table look like a cloud. The chef was apparently a big thing. I think I've seen him on the TV a couple of times. Let's just call him Chef Mike, for reference. It'd be too easy to identify him if I gave you the real first name. We saw him a couple of times that day. A lot of people were running in and out of the kitchen, and if you listen closely, you could hear someone yelling in the other room. As the clock closed in on 6 p.m., a waiter put down a plate right next to me. No one else got a plate like that. It was a kind of zesty halibut with haricots verts and asparagus foam. When I looked up, I realized I'd been served by Chef Mike himself. For the birthday boy, he smiled. It's not my birthday, I smiled back. But thank you. Pardon my assumption. May I ask the occasion? The others at the table chimed in. My grandparents were talking about how inventive I was as a child. My mother straightened her back and started talking about my excellent oral health. Amy was clinging to my arm, a bit overwhelmed about the whole outing. She's not a fan of strangers. Chef Mike just smiled at me. Then you must have a refined palate, he said. Please, it's on the house. A clock chimed in the background. 6 p.m. on the dot. I took a bite. I'm not gonna say the halibut was the best thing I've ever had. It wasn't. It was good though. Buttery smooth, with just enough texture to stick to your tongue. The foam did a lot of heavy lifting. It was just a couple of bites, but I really enjoyed it. There really wasn't much more to it. We had a lovely dinner and dessert. Then, as we called it a night, Amy and I took an Uber back to our place. That's when I noticed something curious. Someone had sent me money. $80. Now, it's not a lot of money, but there was no name or note attached to it. I figured it was my parents wanting to give me a little extra to go out with Amy.